comes out per usual and triggers everyone on the left. He's attacking my children. It's a don't say gay bill, even though that doesn't say it at all in the bill. But you know how people on the left do change wording in order to create an emotional draw, in order for you to freak out, lose your mind, and for you to pay attention to the news. That's not what I want to do here. I hope I make you giggle, laugh every once in a while in my silliness. I'm not a show. I'm not a debate bro show. I'm just a show that's just trying to give you some information and make you laugh and then hopefully think. But Ron DeSantis signed a bill called HB 1467 requiring schools to publicly disclose all curriculum to parents. This is something the right has constantly been fighting against, is the left wanting to be in control of the school system, be in control of what your kid is taught. But let's listen to Ron DeSantis himself talk about this bill.
That was what they did. And then you had this governor's race in Virginia where you had the losing candidate say parents should not be involved in what is taught in the school system. And so there is a debate in this country about what role parents have in the education of their kids. And I think in Florida, with our Parents' Bill of Rights, with the bill we're going to sign here today, other bills we're going to sign later, we believe parents not only have a role, they have a fundamental role to be involved in the education of their kids. And that's how it's going to be in the state of Florida. We reject those that say parents not only shouldn't be involved, there's some say parents don't even have a right to know what is being taught in this. That there's actually some places where you can serious decisions for these kids and not inform the parents about it. And so that is not going to fly in the state of Florida. We are going to make sure that parents have a seat at the table and that we protect their rights, because nobody is more invested in the proper well-being of kids than the parents themselves. And the good thing is, as we've seen this debate, most teachers in Florida want the parents involved. I know there's other parts of the country there, and I'm not saying that's true 100% in Florida, but most of them really want the parents involved. That was what.
Look, and this bill is a direct result of COVID. So some of the good things that came out of COVID is that parents finally started to learn things that their kids are being taught, or finally started to care. I worked in education for a long time, and I always thought that I found it weird how little it seemed like the parents care less about what their children were being taught. And so you had this huge shift with COVID where parents started to actually engage more because they were forced to help teach their children. And now you're seeing a pushback where parents are saying, wait, you're teaching my kid this crap? This isn't math, science, or, philosophy, or teaching them to learn better, or a learning style, or a hunger to grow in knowledge. You're teaching my kid about sexuality in first grade and kindergarten. What are we doing here? I thought school was just to learn about things, not to have a philosophical degree that's for college-age children, #CRT. So you saw this pushback from teachers. In some degree, kind of understandably so, because it was so long where it seemed like parents could give a rat's butt about what their kids were being taught. And so now you have this huge shift where parents are starting to actually pay attention and starting to actually care for, and I think is a good thing. I think it's almost to the point where it's silly, the point where you don't care about what your kid's learning in school. Your kids are spending more time with their teachers than they are with their parents for the most part. You should care about what your students, your children are learning in school. And so teachers are like, wait a minute, why do you care now? Let me just continue to teach your child how I think it should be done. See, people in the government don't like being told what to do. They don't like being told the truth of, wait, I pay for your salary. I'm the reason that you have a job. The government doesn't make money. The government takes money and then prints money, makes your money more useless. We can go on and on. And so now we're at this huge shift right now where conservatives especially, because conservatives want to be in charge of hey, my kid should learn this. I don't assume that my teacher has, or these teachers are out for the best of my students at all times. Maybe, and just maybe, some of these teachers out here are a little nefarious and they want to teach my children, things I don't want to be taught or go against my values, which those of you like myself who grew up in public schools saw it our whole life. So I grew up Christian in a conservative home, and when I went to public school, it was the complete opposite. I learned about climate change. I learned about sexuality, to the point where I am not the best writer in the world. I have to use things like Grammarly. I am like a reason Grammarly is in business, because I never learned how to write a well-crafted sentence. And such a basic thing, but my teachers never taught me that. And I wished my parents' generation were more concerned about what some of the teachers were teaching at the time. But I think, like a lot of people, they assume the media, the corporate media, the news had its best interests, our American people's best interests in mind. And our teachers were teaching our kids basic fundamentals like what they grew up in. But they didn't realize you had an entire generation of people who are more of an activist slant, where they decided, I get to decide what your child learns. And so now you have this shift. And it's good to see people like governors like Ron DeSantis who understand the powers of the state and how important it is for the state to dictate the laws of the land, as opposed to just allowing the federal government to run rampant over individual rights. And so he's putting out a bill, which is funny. I'm in contact with teachers in Florida. They're freaking out about curriculum transparency. They're just like, he's attacking me. He's not attacking your philosophy, sure, because you're being held accountable to what you're teaching children. So therefore, you're going to have to actually start to teach kids about math. You're actually going to have to teach kids about real basic science. You're actually going to have to teach kids about fill in the blank. And they're like, I'll teach them science, but I also want to have a lesson on whatever I deem is important of the day. A walk out in the middle of the day for a don't say gay bill, even though it has nothing to do with gay, trans, lesbian. It has nothing to do with that agenda whatsoever. It just says, let's not teach sexuality to kindergartners through third grade. I would have said it should go farther. It should go all the way to maybe high school, bare minimum, but that's my stance. Call me crazy. Call me old-fashioned. I don't think children's brains are ready for a lot of deep philosophical, especially new definitions that go against potentially what parents believe to be true. Ron DeSantis constantly, this guy is full of W's, and I wish he was in every state. I wish he was in my state. Florida, you look better and better every year. I just hate your weather, and I don't know what else to say. I wish you had some big waves, bruh. But yeah, Ron DeSantis with a huge W in my book. Let me know your thoughts on this. Get in the comments below.